Welcome back to the next episode of Lone Star College Football. Today we're going to come in with our Lone Star Locks. We've sat down, we've picked a couple games each. We haven't discussed about which games we've picked or what teams we've picked to win them. So it's pretty likely we're going to have some similar games here, especially in week 0. There's only 7 or 8, 9
Only a
games to
handful.
choose from. Say again?
So there's only a handful that we can really choose from.
Right. So this week, we're probably going to we may have all 5 the same. I'd be surprised if we don't have at least one different. But with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get right into this. We do plan on this being a weekly video, and we'll have them to where we keep tabs of how many games we've won and lost. And by the end of the season, we'll figure out if we need to get into some sports betting or not. We live in the state of Texas, so we can't sports bet, but eventually that'll probably become legal and we'll know if we're any good at it. I'm gonna let you open it up. Go ahead and give us your first one. I didn't put these in any order of like confidence or anything. I just picked 5. So did you do them in like an order specific?
No, it was pretty much, I just went down the list.
Okay.
It might be in order as far as times, but that'd probably be about it.
Yeah.
The first one I started off with was Nebraska at Northwestern in Dublin. I think that'll be a pretty cool game to watch. I believe it's being played at 11 our time. That one has a -13 towards Nebraska, and I think Nebraska's going to be able to go in there. I think they'll be able to get over 13 over Northwestern. I think Casey Thompson, I think he'll be a little bit more competent than he was last year for Texas. It's tough to say. Hopefully his hand is healed. I don't think he was bad at Texas. I think he'll be able to go into Nebraska with a pretty decent offense, as far as I know, and be able to put up some points that first week.
Yeah. I also have Nebraska at I put at Northwestern, but like you said, it's in Dublin. And I also picked Nebraska to win and cover the spread of 13 -13. I think you're right. I think Casey Thompson, you mentioned it in yesterday's video. He gets a lot of crap for the season by me. I gave it to him too.
From both of us.
And he did against Oklahoma. He injured his thumb on his throwing hand, which we throw footballs all the time. It's hard. It's hard to grip the ball, when your thumb hurts. So hopefully that's all healed up. I think just him having that experience over a team like Northwestern. I'm not super caught up on Northwestern's team and what they've got, but Nebraska is they're a very underperforming blue blood, kind of like Texas over the last however many years. I think they'll be able to travel well and come on the road with a dub coming out of week 0. I'll go ahead and lead us into number 2. Unless you got something else to say.
No, that's all I have to say on that one.
Yeah. All right. So for number 2, I've got Wyoming at Illinois. I put out Illinois. I don't know if that's another crazy travel game, but I put at Illinois. It's got a Illinois -11. So Illinois will be the favorite to win over Wyoming. I picked Wyoming. I kind of think Illinois will probably come away with the win. I just don't know as if I see that really being an 11-point spread for that game. I'd kind of be surprised to see Illinois win that by more than 11. I know Wyoming is coming off of losing Isaiah Nayor, who was he transferred to Texas, and so I know they're losing a lot on offense, but they were decent. I feel like they've got to have something else on that team that can keep that game closer than that.
Yeah, I picked that game too. With Wyoming losing Nayor, I put that Illinois is gonna cover on that one. I don't think Wyoming's defense is great. I haven't watched them. I didn't watch them last year, but from what I know from the past, they've always struggled on defense. I think it'll be a close game for most of it, but I think Illinois will be able to pull it out closer to the end and be able to get over the 11-point spread. And
Yeah,
then if you don't have anything else to say, I can go ahead and move on to my next one.
sounds good.
Okay, so my second one, because Wyoming at Illinois was my third one, was UConn at Utah State, with the spread going -27 to Utah State, which I think is a crazy number for Utah State. I think that they'll come away with the win, but I think UConn's gonna be able to hold them under that 27 for sure. UConn's not. Both of these aren't necessarily great teams. UConn is definitely a basketball school,
Yeah.
by far, but I think that they'll be able to hold them to less than 27, in my opinion.
Yeah, that is a game that I do not have on my list. But that being said, I know one thing about UConn, and that is that they usually are fighting for contention of being one of the worst teams in college football. Uh, so I don't know anything about Utah State. As long as they're not also one of those teams, which they probably are, UConn is FBS, like they're Group of Five, I believe. So I don't know. Is Utah State Group of Five or are they FCS? I honestly don't know.
I believe the group
Uh,
of five. I cannot tell you what they're
if
in.
if
They
they're
might be
both
Mountain West.
if they're both Group of Five, then I could see you taking UConn so that Utah State doesn't cover that 27 point spread. Um, but honestly, with teams like that, I think usually probably taking the unders not a bad call at all.
Yeah,
All right. Well, leading into my number three, I have UNT and UTEP. Now, by the way, all of our over unders are based off of the ESPN spreads. I tried to look on Caesar Sportsbook to be a little bit more professional, but I had to put in what state I lived in. And as soon as you put Texas, it says, hey, you can't bet. So
yeah.
I guess I
We just
could have
want to know
lied and
numbers.
said I was
That's
in
it.
another state, but I just went ahead and it's easier to just use ESPN. So we'll use this all season. If it sucks, then next year maybe we'll change it up. So, but according to ESPN, this is an even game. UNT UTEP. What is that? UNT is like something green, mean green. Is that what they are?
Yeah,
Mean green and the miners. I'm gonna roll with the mean green. Uh, I think UNT has a semi decent team. I really don't know. I know that Lecrae, I think he graduated from UNC, so I'm gonna rock with him. Represent him.
oh yeah. I have the same team or the same game, but I went with UTEP just because
Yeah,
I feel like they're a bigger brand than
yeah,
UNT,
for sure, definitely.
and I feel like they'll be able to recruit a lot better. But when it comes down to teams like that, that will more than likely come down to coaching, and I have no clue about either one of their coaching staffs
I
at
don't
all.
either.
But
Yeah,
I think the Miners got that one just because um it is a home game for them, and I think that'll be able to help them out a lot. But
yeah.
yep.
All right. Well, lead us into your next game.
All right. So I have the best team in college football is Vanderbilt at Hawaii,
Yeah,
and the spread is -8 towards Vandy. And I did not pick them to cover that. I think Hawaii will
yeah.
win this game because who from Vanderbilt is going to be able to travel to Hawaii to watch that? They're not going to have any fans in that
Home field
stadium.
advantage. Yeah,
Is That's a crazy flight that I don't think there's any Vanderbilt fans that are going to be able to or willing to make that.
yeah. Uh, I have that game. And I picked Vandy, dude. And here, let me
Man,
tell you why. Let me tell you why. Vanderbilt is in the SEC. They play against SEC talented rosters. They're going to go to Hawaii and they're going to say, I don't know who these guys are, but they're not as big as the guys Bama have. They're not as
true.
fast as the guys Georgia have. They're not as strong as the guys that Arkansas has. Like I just feel like they're going to go to this game, and even if Hawaii may be the better team, Vandy's used to playing much bigger, faster, stronger, better coached teams, and I think that advantage is going to
True.
let Vandy be able to cover that spread. But I will say, in the back of my mind, I was also worried about having 18, 19-year-olds go to Hawaii and keeping them focused on the game rather than we're in Hawaii.
Hmm.
Like this is a vacation, but there's business to be had on this vacation. Uh,
I think with Hawaii, I think a lot of their recruiting is going to come from in-state, and I don't know much about the people of Hawaii, but the people that I have seen, they're not small. Like they got pretty good people, like pretty big people down there. But I'm not gonna sit here and say that it's like the SEC offensive linemen, defensive linemen.
yeah,
It's nothing. I can
it's
guarantee
not.
you that.
And
But
I also feel like that a lot of the better players in Hawaii are probably going somewhere to compete. I
true.
know Texas currently has a linebacker commit in Leona Lafau from Hawaii. He's like a mid 4-star linebacker. So
Like how
uh,
I love how you just shrugged that off. Like that wouldn't
just
be a
a
great
just a
pickup for
mid
Baylor.
just a mid
Just
four
mid
star. I
four
mean,
star.
yeah.
Must be
Well, right
nice.
now, Texas, we need some 6-star linebackers. Or you're struggling. But it's not what this podcast is about. So, my last pick, I think you have one more, right?
No, that was all of mine.
No? All right. Well, so this one, the one that I'm about to say, you won't have.
Hmm.
I've got Nevada at New Mexico State.
I was
Uh,
gonna pick that one.
yeah, it's got Nevada with a -9 spread, and I picked the over with Nevada. I'm picking Nevada to win that game, by 9 or more, mainly because I don't know, man. I just look at it and I see New Mexico State, and it's not a team. Not that Nevada is a team that I ever hear a ton about. I just don't think New Mexico State is a team that's going to compete. Um, and even in a game like that against maybe similar ranked teams, trust my gut, and I'm gonna go with Nevada. This will
So
be. I promise, guys. We'll talk more about individual teams whenever the teams become teams we actually know stuff about. Week 0,
yeah,
there was a couple of like Florida State plays, but I can't even pronounce the team they play against. So I didn't pick that one. So yeah,
yeah. Um, what is that? Wolfpack versus Aggies? Is that the mascots there?
New Mexico State, are they the Lobos? Mexico State are the Lobos, I think.
I can't even tell you. I don't know
I
anything
think
about the New
that
Mexico schools. I guess one of them's Aggies, one of them's Lobos. That's all I can tell
right.
you. But
Mexico State. Well, yeah, then that kind of wraps it up for week 0 picks. It's only 5 picks. When we get into the actual season, we'll have more because I think on the video we'll post tomorrow, we're announcing some teams that we're going to follow in other conferences. So the way it'll look next week moving forward, we'll have 6 picks of Texas, Baylor, and then those other 4 teams, which I can say because that video will be posted by the time we post this. So for the ACC, it'll be Miami. For the SEC, it'll be LSU. For the Big Ten, it'll be Michigan. And for the Pac-12, it's going to be Oregon. Yeah. So we'll do those 4 plus Texas and Baylor every single week. And then we're going to go ahead and continue with picking just 5 different games. And we're going to try to limit it to where we don't pick. I don't want to pick Texas A&M playing Sam Houston. Uh,
yeah,
that's no fun. There's no fun in that. I want to pick teams that an actual game, an actual relevant. Not that any of them won't be kind of that lesser talent versus a more decent team, but I'm gonna try to stay away from the FCS schools. I think that's I don't. I just don't like that. So
just a little bit
that's where
more
we're gonna go.
competition. That way, it's not a bunch of blowouts and everything.
Right. Well,
I
the
think
point of
that'll
this is to
be.
the point of this is to pick games and see if we can read a spread and pick based off of what we know. And I feel like if we just pick, major programs playing FCS, we're going to end the season with a hundred wins and 6 losses. So
Yeah,
I'd rather pick games that we can win and lose, and ooh, also picking games that if I could bet in the state of Texas, these are games that I might actually bet on. Uh, can't put my own money on it right now, but maybe one of these days we will be able to do that.
just
Um,
chuck a couple dollars on it eventually.
yeah, put a couple bucks on each one, see how it goes. But is that all we got for this one?
That's all I got.
All right. Well, y'all can follow us on Twitter at uh, L_Patterson. No, L Patterson _3, Christian H _8. And you can follow our person or our channel for this YouTube channel at LoneStar _CFB. Appreciate y'all, and we will see y'all next time.